All right then. Looks like we're on. Okay. Right. 3 rings for the Elven-kings and the sky, 7 for the Dwarf-lords in the halls of stone, and 9 for mortal men doomed to die. And just by that, I believe you all know why we're here. Well, but first, greetings to all of my followers of darkness. Like always, I'm your host, Lord of Shadows, and welcome to another live review. And this time, it's going to be a review of a TV show that really got my interest ever since the very first season, and definitely in this year became one of my favorite ones, 100%. And so without any further ado, it's a TV show that I really wanted to review for really quite a while, and finally, here's my chance to do it. So without any further ado, The Rings of Power, Season 2. Right. Now, I do know, I would say, I think I'm one of the rarest people when it comes to The Rings of Power that actually liked Season 1. I mean, because for a lot of people, when the show first came out, a lot of people actually didn't like Season 1 because a lot of people thought nothing was going on. The story went kind of a little bit way too slow for everyone's taste. The characters were so some of them were fine, some of them were not so much and everything. But I will tell you that The Rings of Power Season 2 makes Season 1 even better. After you watch Season 2, you can kind of even forgive what Season 1 did, and the way how they introduced us into this world, which is over 2,000 years ago and everything, and especially the way how Season 1 ended, So yeah, I mean, personally, I liked Season 1. I personally think I'm definitely one of the rarest ones who did. But The Rings of Power Season 2 is even better. Oh my God, this season, I had to tell you, it really surprised me. It really surprised me from the beginning to the very end. People who thought, that Season 1 was slow, trust me, Season 2, not going to happen, because every single episode just simply goes, very quickly, from revelations, some twists and turns, some character development, some when it comes to battles or treachery or surprises, the tempo of Season 2 is very fast, but they've done it in a very, very, very good way. Very good way. This season really proves, Amazon giving this show a budget of $1 billion. It really proves it. I mean, not just simply this show improved when it comes to cinematography, battles, revelations, story wise, and everything, but also a lot of the characters, from old and new. A lot of the characters in the show were absolutely fantastic, and a lot of them worked, at least for me, perfectly. Now let's try to go step by step, shall we? Because I can go on and on and on when it comes to all over the place. But I'm gonna try to be as quick, but at the same time a little bit extendable. Now, I will say this: this season. Now, usually, when it comes to Rings of Power Season 1, Season 1 had I think 2, 3, kind of side stories, and eventually most of them coming to a conclusion at the end. But this one, oh my God, this season, with not just with the characters, but story wise, it was all over the place. We had the dwarves. We had, the storyline with Elrond, Galadriel, Sauron storyline. We had the storyline with Celebrimbor and Sauron. We had the storyline with Adar. We had the story with the Harfoots and the Stranger, which later on was actually revealed, well, more precisely in the very last episode was revealed who it was, which for me personally, no surprise whatsoever. We all kind of saw it coming on, but still, and of course you have, you had also the Numenor storyline, you had the Isildur storyline. There's a lot of things that were going on in this show, and the way how they binded all of this together in this season, I have to tell you guys, it really, really surprised me. They really, really did, and again, not just simply when it comes to story wise, but even some of the elements when it comes to from the Silmarillion, the way how they brought it to life, with some new additions as well. Again, it really felt natural. Now, as I mentioned before, when it comes to characters, there's been a lot of them, and I would say like every single one of them for me personally worked. Like I said, from Elrond to Galadriel to Durin the Fourth, Celebrimbor, Sauron, Durin the Third, Isildur the Stranger, the two Harfoots girls, then Tom Bombadil, Disa, like you name it. Every single character for me, and when it comes to the performances, every single one of them nailed it out of the park. And I will say this: like some of the character arcs in this show, in this season, for me personally, they worked way more better than in season one. I mean, again, going back to what I said about season one, a lot of people, didn't like it because most of all, they felt like the characters, were for them just, a little bit boring. Also, the story wise, they kind of went very slow. But I can tell you, season two remedies that in a blink of an eye. Like, you thought that some of the characters in season one were boring. Well, in season two, you're going to find them way more and more interesting, from the old ones to the new ones, Oh my God. And again, when it comes to the performances, every single one of them really did their part, brilliantly. But speaking of parts, I just want to say right now, give this man a fucking award. BAFTA, Emmy, Oscar, whatever. Like this guy right here who played Anatar / Sauron, Charlie Wickers, I think his name is. In the first season, he was fine. He was okay. And of course, even though the revelation of Sauron, we all kind of saw it coming in a way. But in this season, this guy shines the hell out of it. Like this guy really carries, at least for me, carried the entire season on his back. Like every scene he was in it, he fucking stole it. Like from not just even like his Sauron persona, but even like the overall Anatar persona, the way how he was introduced into the Rings of Power, the overall storyline, the relationship with Celebrimbor, the manipulation, his powers, his overall manipulation over the orcs, or should I say Uruk? Sorry. His relationship like with Galadriel in the show like gets even deeper and deeper. Like that, I mean, that fight at the very end when they had Galadriel and Sauron, that fight was really phenomenal. It was really well choreographed, really well done, and again, the way how he was just simply playing, with her character, with her mind, basically, trying to manipulate her and everything. Oh my God. Charlie Wickers, like he really, of all the characters I've seen in this season, he, for me, is like my favorite part. Oh my God. Like he was so motherfucking brilliant. And one of the things I love about Sauron in the season is because we got a way more deeper into this character. Like for example, if I have to go back all the way to the first season, where basically it basically happened after the first war, against Morgoth, after he was defeated and banished into the other. Well, I would say like physically he was defeated, but his spirit was kind of like. I would say where he was banished, I would say he's kind of like a sort of like a different dimension, in a way. But overall, like after Morgoth's defeat, we see like, Sauron kind of like, gathering all the orcs, and of course, Adar was there, he was trying to explain, that he seeks power over skin, he wants to do things differently, than what Morgoth did, when he was in charge and everything, which also kind of adds to even like that scene with Celebrimbor when he was talking about Morgoth and everything, what he did to him. All the suffering he had, that was happening to him through his hand, through Morgoth's hand. Like, oh my God, like we went really deeper in Sauron's character in this one. Like he really was. Not just, he not only for me was my favorite character in Rings of Power, but I would say he's one of my favorite villains of 2024, 100%. And Charlie Wickers, again, the way how he portrays him is just simply mesmerizing. Like and again, I love the way how basically even like the way how they explain how he became Hellbrand, sort of like like for example, when we see Sauron in the very first episode, he was like a totally different actor, like a totally different form, and then of course you see him being betrayed by Adar and the Uruk, well, the orcs basically, and again, I love the way how they use the fucking crown, against him and everything, and also at the end give him like the piece de resistance, which of course is the Julius Caesar type of like betrayal. I really like that. I really did. And of course, later on, Sauron basically turned into a fucking symbiote, and piece by piece, kind of like eating everything organic that he could find. He like from this like black symbiote, he became a man basically. He basically transformed into a totally different form. And again, just from that beginning itself was just simply fantastic. He made me love Sauron even more. And the way how we saw him as Anatar, I just simply makes me realize one thing. I cannot fucking wait to see Charlie Wickers wears the Sauron armor. I really cannot wait. Like, for now, we got the crown, which was also revealed. It was modeled from Morgoth's crown as well, which is, like, again, really great addition to story-wise. And again, Sauron's character itself. Charlie Wickers himself, like, I remember, like, he even said that he cannot wait to wear the Sauron's, like, armor and everything. The one that he wore at the Battle of the Final Alliance, basically, or as I like to call it, the Battle of Mordor, basically. And again, even though we have a long way until then, but still cannot wait to see him in all its glory. Like the actual Sauron we all know, love, and at the same time fear and hate. But again, but again, for the last time, I will say, like, Charlie Wickers really carried this show on his shoulders. Like, he really did. More precisely, this season. Oh my god! Like, I loved it. I loved it. And again, there's a lot of things that happen in this season that has the connection to, like, the Silmarillion's and everything. And of course, like, the Silmarillion's, are basically like, Middle Earth, as I like to call them, encyclopedias. So of course, in the when you're trying to bring all those events and elements and characters, like, to life, or should I say onto screen, of course, you're going to add some elements, that never appeared in Silmarillion at all. Like, for example, going back, like, for example, like some of the characters, that we introduced in season 1, even like in season 2, that actually never appeared in let's just say in the Middle Earth universe in general. Like, for example, from the new characters, we have we have the Dark Wizard, the Harfoots, Adar, like, there's a lot of characters, like, in this show that they're basically original characters, but they're still good, still good. Oh yeah, definitely. And again, like, the way, and again, like, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, every single storyline that was happening in season 2, and again, there were quite a few of them. The way how they connected them all the way till the end, or at least like the major ones, But even like some of the stories connected to the finale, but some of them, basically, some of them, they still had, like, on their own, kind of like, it's very satisfying finale in general, And again, what I've seen in season 2, it just simply, makes me realize I cannot fucking wait for season 3. I cannot fucking wait. Like, like the way how they did this show, this season, I was like, just give me more. Like, I cannot wait. And again, this is just the beginning, because in this show, like, one of the main topics is definitely the rings of power themselves. Like at the end of season 1, we created 3 elven rings. Then, of course, in this show, we created the 7 dwarf rings. And then, of course, at the very end, we created, the 9, basically. Now, when it comes to the overall rings, of course, the elven rings found their bearers from Galad to, like, Galadriel, and to the third one, which was the oh shit, who was the third bearer of the elven rings? But anyway, I can't remember his name right now, but I do know the character. But the point is, like, we get them, and eventually, we're gonna get all the other 7 rings, going to the Dwarf-lords as well, Although in this one, only this season, we concentrated more on the most powerful of all the Dwarven rings, which of course, the bearer was during the third, of course, So, and again, the 9, and as I said, like, at the end of the season, like, the 9 rings were created. So now in season 3, we're gonna see the fucking, the 9 bearers, basically. Who are they gonna carry? Who's gonna be the carriers of, or the holders of the 9 rings of power for men. But the one thing for certain, Sauron really got his hands on them. That's for sure. Now, I will say this. Now, when it comes to, like, which of the characters, like, are my favorites when it comes to, like, this season, because in the very first season there was a lot of characters, but like the only few that I really liked were like during the fourth and Adar, just like in this season, although the actor was different. But I will say this, I even though if I have to choose between them, like both actors, actually I will say this, when it comes to Adar himself, like both actors for me personally, they did a really great job portraying Adar. But I will say this, I'm digging way more this actor who played him in season 2 rather than the first one. I mean, again, he was great, but this one, oh my god, he knocked it out of the park. Now, Adar and during the fourth were my favorite characters in season 1. In this season, I have 4 favorite characters, and those were, for me personally, Sauron, or should I say Anatar, during the third, Adar, like in the first one, the Dark Wizard, which I will say personally for me, I think he gets a little bit much more underappreciated. I think like he should be appreciated more, because I really like this character, and I really cannot wait to see, the Stranger. You know what? Screw it. Okay, spoiler alert. Okay, even though every single Lord of the Rings fan kind of saw it coming, but basically, okay, let's just get out of the way. Okay, the Stranger is Gandalf. Okay, like we all knew this was coming. The way how he was talking, yes, sometimes he kind of led into Saruman. Kind of like we believe that he was actually Saruman, but in the end, it was Gandalf. So let's just get out of the way. The Stranger with the Harfoots, his Gandalf. That's it. Okay, that's it. Anyway, like going back to the Dark Wizard, like I mean, he's still like at the very end of season 2, like we don't find out who he is, when it comes to like easy, because some people because I've seen the showrunners saying that the Dark Wizard is not Saruman, even though because a lot of people were theorizing that he might be Saruman or at least one of the Blue Wizards. Now the Blue Wizards information we don't know. But the showrunners did say that the Dark Wizard is not Saruman. So, again, he's still a mystery. So far, we still know him as the Dark Wizard. And again, the fourth one for me, Tom Bombadil. Oh, my God. Like, Tom Bombadil, I will say, I'll be honest, Tom Bombadil is one of the Middle-earth characters that I know least from, like, the Tolkien, like, from, like, the Tolkien resources, let's put it that way. From the Tolkien informations, he's the least one I'm familiar with. I know the only one thing I do knew is that that he was all dressed kind of like in blue. He was always kind of like this jolly, very interesting guy, and also like like one of the oldest beings on Middle Earth in general. Some people will say like he's the eldest character in Middle Earth. So those are the only two informations I knew. And in this show, oh my God, it made me so much more interested in Tom Bombadil. Especially, I love the few like moments between him and Gandalf. I really love that. Oh my God, like and I really liked how Tom Bombadil in a way is kind of like trying to teach Gandalf how to become a wizard, so to speak. Like I really like that. And again, the way how they first met, because when you first see Tom Bombadil, he's just this regular guy who lives in this like home, like handmade cottage, with his bees and the fire, and the kind of like his garden and everything. He looks like a normal person and all that. But then later on, the way how he starts talking and everything, like it gets you more and more interested, especially the ones who are not familiar with the with Middle Earth, basically, franchise in general, So yeah, Tom Bombadil is definitely like one of my is my fourth favorite character in this season, and I really hope we're gonna see more of him in the future. I really do hope we do. I know there's been like some rumors or like theories that he was actually supposed to appear in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, but like his scenes were cut or something. Like again. I heard some like stories. I don't know if they're actually official or not. Now, again, as I said before, like those 4 characters are my favorites in the show in the season. But I do have to say, like each and every one of them gave a legendary performance. Although I will add one more on this, which I have to go back, which of course is Celebrimbor. the guy who portrays Celebrimbor, I think his name is Charlie Edwards, or no, it's Charles Edwards. My bad. Charles Edwards. Oh my God. Alongside, like, Charlie Wickers as Sauron, this guy who portrayed Celebrimbor, like, he really deserves an award. He really did, because at the first in the first season, because again, I said there's some characters you don't like them at first when you see season one, but in season two they made you like love them even more and get interested. And Celebrimbor is definitely one of them. Like I was literally into his character, and I love his arc, even though it ends, spoiler alert, very badly for him. After finding out that that Anatar is actually Sauron and everything. But I love his relationship with Sauron. I love his character in general. And again, Charles Edwards' performance. I think, like, again, just like Charlie Wickers for Sauron, I think he deserves an award. He really does. And I really love, what I also love about Celebrimbor in this season is also, I love this little, like, but before he died, I love the way how he teased, like Sauron's fate, basically, like not just simply like that someone will stop him, but also in the same time that those rings would be his downfall, basically, like kind of like, teasing the Battle of the Last Alliance alongside the Lord of the Rings storyline. I really, really like that. I really did. Oh my God. Yeah. Also, going to other characters, like one of the other things I really love about season 2 is definitely the dwarfs. Okay, like the dwarves, for me personally, if I have to choose of all the races or kinds on Middle Earth, I will always choose the dwarves. Some people might choose, goblins, orcs, urukai, or wizards, or Istar if you prefer, or even like hobbits or humans. For me, the dwarves all the way. Like their mythology and them as characters and their overall world, it's so rich with so much, like, information, so many great characters, and again, not just simply, like from the movies, like, but even here, like during like I said, season 1 during the fourth was like one of my favorite characters, and in this season I loved even more during the third. Oh my God. Like the guy who played in Peter Mullen, like he did a fantastic job playing during the third. I loved his relationship between father and son. Which kind of like starts from which continues from like that last scene where basically he rips apart that prince title from him, and kind of like degrades him in a way. He doesn't have any more like royal favors basically, and kind of like building his way all the way to the top, trying to say he's sorry to his own father and everything. And of course during the third's journey, with the trying the rings of power. Oh my God, he like I again and again, just seeing more of Khazad-dûm and the Mines of Moria, it just simply, for me, it's like heaven on earth, literally. I mean, again, I loved, like, for example, I loved like I love when it comes to the hobbits. My favorite part of that storyline, like I always said, this were the dwarfs. I love the overall mythology of Thorin Oakenshield or Erebor, and the same thing goes again with Khazad-dûm and Moria. Like every single thing we've seen here was just absolutely great. Now, even though I will say this, during the fourth and this one was really great, and I really love that he was the only one kind of suspecting, about everything but the rings and Anatar thing, which kind of connects to the relationship between father and son, but again, one thing I will say, Disa, even she was like in this show, she was also, even in the season, she was also great. I know that she kind of at first she wasn't very likable in season 1, but if anyone like didn't like her in season 1, I guarantee they're gonna love her even more in season 2, definitely. And I love the relationship between during the fourth and her, that's for sure. But the one, again, going back during the third, one thing I do remember, that the every single Middle Earth fan knows, that when the Dwarf-lords took the rings of power, that none of them became under the effect of Sauron, but they make them more aggressive and more greedy in a way, which kind of like goes back to during the third, because again, I have to go back to what Saruman said, the dwarves dig too greedily and too deep. Do you know what I discovered? Shadow and flame. And the way how, and again, which kind of leads to the fucking Balrog, and again, I love the way how they're demonstrating, kind of like, during the third is the one kind of like who started this like greedy digging, let's just put it that way, and again, the overall journey he had, like being kind of like corrupted in a way, through the rings of power, kind of like, being obsessed with it and everything. I love that scene where during the fourth was like, please, Father, take off the ring. I won't. It's mine. It belongs to me. No, you belong to it. If there's any chance otherwise, prove it. Take it off. I just, and then of course, he's like, I have nothing to prove, you boy. And then of course, he goes back to his throne. He tries to grab his hand, and he just simply whoosh, just bitch slap him. Let's put it that way. He fucking bitch slap his own son. I love that. I love that. And the way how he went out like a badass. I mean, like, trying to save his kingdom, his son, taking off the ring and saying, like, forgive me, my son, King Durin, and that clash with Balrog. Oh my God, that was magnificent. Not just simply as a shot, but it was a cinematography. That scene alone was just simply magnificent, movie level. Oh my God. And again, one other actor I have to praise again is Kieran Hines as the Dark Wizard. Now, if you don't know who Kieran Hines is, he was in Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. He was also in the TV show The Terror. He was also in Hitman. He was also in Lara Croft, Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movie. I think it was the first one. He was also in the latest action movie with Liam Neeson. This guy is one of my favorite Irish actors alive, and also I will say very underrated. So I was really happy to see Kieran Hines being part of the Middle Earth, universe, and again, his role as a Dark Wizard, I really love his performance, and I do really hope that we're gonna see him back. That's for sure. Again, one of the few other things I really love about the Rings of Power season 2 is that they explored more of, not simply like the Rings of Power, but for example, the Battle of Eregion, which is like one of my favorite parts of season 2. Like that battle alone, again, cinematography, movie level, the way how they build up the Balrog thing, I mean, again, the showrunners did say, and again, you can see they knew, nope, that's not the time when Balrog is going to destroy Khazad-dûm. No. That story is a buildup, because in the actual storyline, in the actual lore, Balrog, he awakened from his slumber and destroyed Khazad-dûm and killed Durin the Sixth. That was the time when actually he took over the mines of Moria and Khazad-dûm. So for a lot of people, they're like, wait a minute, like showing the Balrog here, like, is way too early. And and the way how they ended with the Balrog thing, like, it really shows that they're building up the destruction of Khazad-dûm. And again, we just had seen, which I've repeated again before, during the third, that kind of also begins the basically the name of the Balrog of the Mines of Moria being called Durin's Bane. Now, for a lot of people, they say, oh, he was called Durin's Bane because he killed Durin the Sixth. But you can also have a conversation that he also got the Durin's Bane name after killing Durin the Third. Overall, again, satisfied the way how they handled it, And again, one of the other things I don't want to forget about mentioning season 2 that I really loved is they also like the way how they also explored the orcs, or should I say Uruk in season 2, like the relationship with Adar, which again is a fantastic character, and it's a real shame they killed him off at the end. But it's also, I will say, his death is kind of poetical, again, Caesar style, but also the same way how Sauron died. Well, his old form died before he regenerated, basically. And again, I love his relationship with the orcs. I love the way how he treats them like his children, and they're calling him father and everything. At first when you see Adar, you think like he's kind of like a villain, but then later on, he's kind of like a neutral character. I want to say he's actually a 100% villain, because like again, he was even willing to work with like Galadriel and Elrond, trying to stop Sauron and everything, because Sauron is the only target that he had to destroy, because he felt like if Sauron is gone, so will be my children. Like basically my children will be free. Only when he is destroyed. If he is still alive, his children will still all go all the way into slavery, just like in the old days. So again, it's such a shame that they killed him off in season 2. But again, we all knew that he had to go one way or another. He would have died. We all knew that. But again, Adar, such a great character. Oh my god. And again, I really love the way how they explored the orcs, or Uruk, if you wish. In this season, kind of like well, even though like it is still kind of like shown to be evil, but like some of them were shown that they are more than just simple like evil beasts. Let's put it that way. Also, again, one of the things I do have to mention also about the Rings of Power is just like in season 1, even in season 2, the soundtrack is magnificent, so good. And if I have to pick a soundtrack, I would say my favorite part is definitely gonna be when that troll appeared. When that fucking cave troll, no, actually mountain troll appeared and tried to destroy the wall of Eregion. Oh my god, that heavy metal song with the way how he appeared, and also as an end credit sequence. Oh my god, I was like, at first I was like, does this kind of soundtrack actually belongs to the Lord of the Rings? It kind of makes you think does it or not? But then you're like, oh my god, it is so good that you don't give a shit if it belongs or not. It's so good. Oh my god, yeah. I mean, like the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. I mean, again, I can go into, when it comes to characters, I can go into every single one of them, in details, But like again, we wouldn't be here all day. But overall, I just want to say this: of all the storylines that actually were here, I would say my least favorite one, I would say, are definitely the Harfoots storyline. When I would say when they're on the scene, But when you have Gandalf and Tom Bombadil, together, then that's a different story. That's a totally different story. But the Harfoots part, I would say it's my least favorite one of the season, because besides that, I really don't have any more complaints. Like the CGI, the makeup, the prosthetics, the practical effects, the CGI, the choreography, the characters. Like there's so much positivity I have for season 2. Way more than I had for season 1, even though I'm one of those who actually enjoys season 1. Oh my god, but when it comes to story-wise, the Harfoots are definitely my least favorite one. And I will say this season, actually, even Numenor storyline was actually really great, especially all the because as if you are familiar with the Middle Earth lore, or should I say Numenor lore, we're getting basically into very closely to the downfall of Numenor, because now we have Pharazôn becoming the king of Numenor, which of course spoiler alert, by the way, if you don't want to hear, mute right away or just simply leave. But basically, Pharazôn, well, everyone who knows, he's the last king of Numenor, who also got manipulated by Sauron, which also leads to Numenor's destruction, but also in the same time, the creation of Gondor, basically, so to speak. And again, I will say this: Isildur's father. I would say I love Isildur's father in this season even more. And I really, and again, relationship with the queen, with the former queen, that also was great. Oh my god! Also, speaking of Numenor, I love that scene with the Leviathan. I really, really like that. And again, the CGI, perfect, absolute pure perfection. Very close to pure perfection. Very movie level. And again, one of the things I love about Numenor definitely in this season is again, when he gets the sword, and I'm talking about the sword, cut off Sauron's fingers and the ring of it as well. Oh my god! When I've seen that sword, I was like, oh my god! It brings back so many memories, especially from Lord of the Rings movies. Oh my god, so many memories. There was a really great touch, But overall, all the storylines here for me were great. If I have to choose, from one of them, I would say the Harfoot part is my least favorite one. But overall, everything else was just simply, mesmerizing. For me, this show really gets a lot of, for me at least, a lot and lots of praises. I really enjoyed every single episode. And again, as I said before, the speeding. Oh, just a moment. We have a comment here. Can we all just appreciate how much this man is streaming right now? Absolutely. Oh, FRC. Thank you very much, man. Again, thank you very much for your compliment. I really do appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Sometimes it's really nice, to read a comment like that. It really does. But anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Now the comment lost me. I kind of lost my way now. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. That's right. Again, yeah. I mean, I think I basically have said everything. Again, this season, again, you just simply raised the views. Let's just say the viewership of the Rings of Power, on way more higher than season 1, and the way how it ended, you kind of say it ended up with a bittersweet ending, so to speak, but again, for everything that is coming after that, because you're just gonna get worse and worse and worse. That's for sure. Every single storyline had its ending, but everything will be experienced, from Sauron's kind of manipulation over Celebrimbor, the creation of the rings, the Battle of the Region. All of that is just simply an appetizer, basically, of what's coming. Because believe me, this is just the beginning. The real hell is beginning from season 3 onwards. Oh my God, there's so much, we're gonna explore in season 3, from the creation of the not simply season 3, but future seasons all the way to the season 5, the creation of, like I said, the final alliance, the creation of the One Ring, the creation of Gondor, oh my God, there's so much that is coming. And again, season 2, it just simply made the TV show even better than what in the season 1. So overall, my final thoughts, I have to say, I really don't have so much negativity when it comes to season 2. I really don't. Again, the speeding of the season was way better than season 1. It didn't feel slow whatsoever. Every single character, the old ones, were even way more better. Were actually written way more better than they did in season 1. The new ones also, for me personally, I welcome them with open arms, especially the Dark Wizard. The villains were great, which again, I'm on the villains' life, so the villains are the first thing kind of interests me in the shows like this. So the villains were great, story was great, the CGI was great. Oh my God, mostly I think the CGI was on the troll and the Ents. Which also, by the way, I just want to say this: I really love the Ents, the Ents in this show. Although I will say I was surprised on the design, because they looked way more different than what they did in the Lord of the Rings movies. But overall, it was really great to see the Ents in it as well. Also, one of them being voiced by Jim Broadbent. Actually, that kind of surprised me. But overall, yeah. I mean, my only complaint I had, like I said, the Harfoot storyline was the only one that for me was least interesting, outside Tom Bombadil and Gandalf thing. That is a different story. But overall, oh my God, this season was absolutely fantastic. And again, just simply, everyone who's working on this, just bring it on. Just bring on season 3, 4, and 5. Because I have a feeling that after this, things are gonna get better and better. Even way more awesome. Although when it comes to story-wise, he's gonna get shittier and shittier. That's for sure. Yeah. Until all the way to Battle of Mordor. Although I'm really kind of curious to see how they're gonna end season 5, how they're gonna end after the Battle of Mordor. How far they're gonna go, with the Isildur, are they gonna redo the Isildur's death and everything, destroy it, the ring thing with Elrond. I'm really kind of curious about that. But overall, just keep it coming. Which leads me to my score, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm serious, 9.5 out of 10. The only reason why it's not 10 out of 10 for me overall as a season, it's just because the Harfoot storyline for me was the least interesting one, But even still a welcome one, But again, the least interesting one of them all. Everything else for me, from the dwarves, from elves, from the Numenor, from like, you know, a region, the Rings of Power, everything else for me absolutely worked. Oh my God. You know, so overall, I give this show a 9.5 out of 10. It really deserved it. You know, I mean, I gave season 1, I think it was like 7 out of 10, I think. Yeah, I think it was 7 out of 10 or 7.5, but you know, but I'm not quite sure. Either way, this is a way more better upgrade when it comes to, like, you know, story wise and show wise. Oh my God. So yeah, Rings of Power season 2, 9.5 out of 10. And with that, we have ended our Rings of Power season 2 review. I was trying to be as fast as possible. I didn't want to really drag this because, trust me, if I can go into details, we would have been here like for hours and hours. Believe me, you know. But anyway, like, I really enjoyed this show and I cannot wait to see more. Also, quick announcement. After years and years of hiatus, the Villains Review are finally back. And the premiere of the very first episode of the Villains Review season 2 is going to be on Monday of 21st of October. Now, also one thing I want to tell you is that each and every Monday, you know, I'm going to release a new Villains Review episode starting with 21st of October. But overall, just a reminder that the premiere of season 2 of Villains Review is going to be 21st of October, Monday. Don't lose it. But for now, here I am. I'm done. Like always, you know, you guys know the drill. You know the tradition. Subscribe, comment. You know, leave a like. You know, everything. You know, what? Give me your own personal thoughts about the Rings of Power season 2. Everything, you know, in the comments down below. Overall, like always, I hope you guys enjoyed my review, or should I say my live review. Like always, Lord of Shadows signing off. Until next time. But until then, I have only one thing to say to you guys. Later, fucker.